envision three female attorneys coming together to have our voices heard. Each of us would have different opinions, different passions, different backgrounds, and different views. Although we are different and unique, we are able to come together to discuss our experiences, navigating through the legal profession and this thing called life. Now, the vision has come alive, and we invite you each and every week to listen to us as we talk about what's trending in the news and our legal insight, tackle real-life issues that affect not only us as attorneys, but us as women of color. Disclaimer: this podcast is intended to provide entertainment and general information. The information provided and the views given are not intended to constitute legal advice and should not be relied upon as legal representation. All views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever we are affiliated with now or will be affiliated with in the future. Hey guys, and welcome back to No Further Questions. I hope everybody had a good week. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about professionalism in the 21st century. And of course, I got my girls with me. I'm Brandy to my left.
I'm Taria. Hey guys.
To my right.
I'm Samantha. What's up, guys?
So this is something that's been weighing on our hearts and stuff, dealing with navigating professionalism as a young professional. So on the docket call, we got some interesting topics. We got for our case 1, we're going to talk about being young and professional. Case 2, we're going to talk about tips on professionalism. Case 3, we're going to talk about how do you maintain your professionalism when you are tried at work.
Tried it.
And by your coworker, management, whoever. And then, as always, case 3, we're going to talk about, we're gonna lay everything to rest. So let's get started with case number 1. Taria, take it away.
Okay, so we're on the younger end of the professionalism spectrum. I think so. I think we are. So we're not like old and
decrepit.
Exactly.
Jinx.
Gray hair. And so when I was looking at this, what does it really mean to be young and a professional? And I started looking at the different generations that there were. And I think that we fall into either Gen X generation or being a millennial and a professional. And so typically I call us the younger professionals because it's the people who were just in their first 10 years of whatever your profession is. So if you're we're lawyers, but if you're a doctor or you're an accountant or whatever, your first 10 years of you just kind of navigating the career path that you chose. And what does it look like to be a professional when you're that young? And does it look the same as the older people in that profession?
Well, it definitely don't look the same. I mean, because trends have changed, mindset has changed. Mm-hmm. So we're not our parents. Work ethic has changed. We've seen that in the workplace. So it doesn't look the same. What you think, Sam?
I think it's different. I think because a lot of, not only are we younger, but we face a lot of things that the generations prior to don't face. Like, for example, like my boss loves to talk about how she does not know what a student loan is because she went straight through. She didn't have to pay for any student loans or anything. But pretty much most of the professionals that you encounter struggle and are panini pressed with the student loan debt. So I think that kind of adds to it. Most professionals have that to pay or to deal with as well.
Well, and I think also just with professionalism in general is if you were to ask a younger person what is a professional versus an older person, what is a professional, their idea is probably different. So I go to work every day with jeans and a shirt on.
Girl,
right?
what?
As an attorney, it's amazing.
I do too.
Hey. But I know there's some older professionals and older attorneys who have said, you come to work even if you have clients or not, like you're going to see a client today or like you're going to court today, right? Yeah. But then there's this new age of generation that's coming through that says, hey, if I don't have clients that are coming in every day, if I'm not seeing a judge, why can't I wear jeans and a shirt? What does my attire have anything to do with how smart
and it's hot.
How professional I am.
It is hot. But I will say I am a little bit old school on that because you will rarely catch me unless it's like a dressy jean in the office with jeans on unless it's a Friday. But I do that for a few reasons. One, because when clients come in, I think that clients have a certain idea of what a lawyer looks like in their brain. And because I'm younger, I find myself overcompensating for you to take me more serious, that I'm really your lawyer, because some people will come in, oh, you look so young to be a lawyer. So I try to give them that lawyer experience. I don't want to walk in to my doctor's office and you may not need to wear a lab coat, but I don't actually want to see you with some Crocs and some cargo shorts on. I like the lab coat and scrubs.
See, I'm not bothered by that. That
I'm not either.
Affect me. You can be in the best suit. It can be a 3-piece suit. It can be a $5,000 suit. And you don't know anything that you're talking about.
I stopped going to a doctor because she wore heels.
Really?
Facts.
That doesn't bother me.
Because I was like, I can't take you serious. Like, what are you doing? Like, you need your comfy shoes
She's putting
on.
her best foot forward.
This is not a runway.
So when you saw her, that doctor, in heels, did you consider her to be professional?
I did consider her to be professional, but I was taken back a little bit.
Because you have an image of what your doctor needs to look like.
Because I have an idea on the type of doctor that I like in my mind, okay? And my doctor, in my mind, she don't wear heels, okay? She wears them little nurse shoes, them little...
The little white Oxfords or whatever?
No, not the white Oxford. They're like those, but they're the smocks or clogs. The medical clogs.
So you discriminated on the lady.
Did I discriminate?
You did.
You discriminated on
because
the lady.
she had on
heels.
heels.
Were they kitten heels?
They were kitten
5-inch?
heels, which made me judge her more. Like, so. No, but it's just like, this is not a fashion show, ma'am. My health is serious. Like,
But did she come in with a dress and her lab coat? So she had on heels, a dress,
she
and a
had
lab
on
coat?
a lab coat, and she had on a dress.
That's fine to me. That's still professional to me.
Right. It's just not what I was looking for.
You wanted scrubs,
Like
doctor shoes, and a
like
lab
some
coat.
people, like you see some lawyers, right? And they are just anti-suits, like depending upon where you practice. Like if you go to California, they ain't gonna be rocking no suits. They
in court or just in their office?
in court. They'll be wearing flip-flops in court. If you go to Cali,
Bexar County, San Antonio, they do that.
yeah,
I mean.
very relaxed, But
not
that's
there
just
yet.
that's not the person I'm looking for.
So do you think that attire then comes into play when it comes to professionalism?
I think that to a certain extent it's a give and a take, right? So do I think that you have to wear a 3-piece suit and stockings and, closed-toe shoes to the office? No. But do I think that your clients have a certain expectation, and I think that, they don't want to encounter you looking like you about to, go to the picnic for the weekend.
Well, see, the type of clients that I deal with, I guess it also depends on what type of clients. The type of clients I deal with are like below poverty level. So a lot of times to make them feel comfortable, and you want them to feel comfortable and not be intimidated, I'm not going to say dress down to the level, but we do dress comfortable so they will feel comfortable.
Right.
So we're not always, even if I have a client meeting, I'm not having on like a suit or whatever. I might do slacks and a nice shirt, or I might have jeans and a nice shirt and maybe throw on some wedges. But it's just to make my client feel comfortable. So when they're talking to me and speaking to me, they'll be more open up. But if I have a suit, yeah, and I've seen it, they will clam up. And then they feel like, oh, when I talk to you, because I'm not educated, I don't know the right words to say, so they feel very intimidating, and then it's hard to help them. So I think it also depends on the type of clientele you have.
I agree.
And then I also think, like, I want to be able, because I ask my clients too, like, depending upon who you are, what do you plan to wear to court? So if I'm coming in laxed, and then I'm asking you to come suited and booted, depending upon what we're going to court for, I want to I expect a certain thing of my clients, and I think my clients expect a certain thing of me.
So I think for court, it's totally different.
Yeah, that's different.
Now, my last job, I was a personal injury attorney in Austin, and Austin is
Like mini California.
relaxed. You know what I mean? Everybody's in
Keep
the
it
courthouse with a
weird.
suit on and some cowboy boots on.
Yes.
Like that's professional, but okay, neither here nor there.
I like the cowboy
But
boots.
too.
my firm, they changed everything, and we had paraphernalia. And so, as long as you had a polo shirt on with the law firm's name on it,
Right.
you could wear jeans every day. And so, I got to wear jeans every day with the polo shirt on or a cardigan.
Yeah.
And my clients loved it because with the personal injury case, I was doing plaintiff's work, and these people, something had happened in their life where their life had been shattered by,
Yeah.
you know, some
Like a car
catastrophic injury, and they just want to come in and talk to someone who's going to talk on their level, who's going to understand where they're coming from, and they're going to fight for them. They're not caring if I have red soles on my shoes or if I'm carrying the newest Louis Vuitton bag. They're more concerned with, can she take all that away and just hear my story and tell my story and get me, I guess, the proper conclusion to this case for what happened to me. And so it worked perfectly, and I felt like people were able to just understand us, and it didn't matter kind of what we had on. You couldn't tell the partners from the associates, you
Right.
know? And so there are still those who still believed that I look so young. Did your boss know that you're here today? Did your boss? What did your boss think?
Yeah.
But when you put my boss and I in the room together, we're just regular people who just sat in school a little bit longer than they did. We have a few
So
more
you-
loans than the other person did.
So you liked the uniforms.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was casual. Our profession is very stuffy sometimes. And I think
Very.
that's one of the issues that happen with the whole young professional versus old professional and these younger attorneys that are coming through. I know for me, I don't want it being the old school way, you know, where it was the old man's club. And you may or may not have come to that table because if you're not male, you don't look a certain way, you're not a certain age, you're not going to have the same discussions versus now, the younger generations, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter. What are you bringing to the table? That's what should matter.
I don't know. I think it's a happy medium. I do think that the legal profession and some other professions are a little bit dated. They can be stuffy. But I can appreciate some of the stuffiness. Like, we are professionals. Like, I wouldn't want to wear a uniform because I feel like I don't work at Target. I'm a professional. And professionals, in my mind, wear suits or, you know, wear business casual. Now, what business casual means, I think, shifts. You know, some people are like, you can't wear your arms out. You know, you need to wear a cardigan or something like that. And it's like, well, I don't know if we need to go that far. But I also don't need to walk into, I guess because my profession, we do, you know, family law is very emotional experience. And I don't want to walk in to somebody who looks like they work at Target or Walmart with a uniform on. Like,
Well, mine was not a uniform. Let me go ahead and clarify real quick. We had different color cardigans, and polos. I got mine from the Gap and Banana, and so it was really fabulous. I had more compliments from older lawyers. We'd go to different functions. They'd be like, "Hey, can I get a cardigan?" They were trying to buy those cardigans off of me when I left. I looked great. I wore me a nice pair of loafers. You know what I mean?
So I'm not talking about the cardigans, okay?
Classy
Because I
with a
didn't
C,
see
not a
because we
K.
have, like, when we do outreach, we have our polo shirts. Like, they purchase polo shirts for us, and I noticed, like, on Friday, the staff apparently, you know, that's like logo day or something.
I've seen people
So-
wear them at CLEs, and I think they work for certain types of events. I just wouldn't want to meet with my client with one-on-one. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
wouldn't have a problem. I mean, I feel like that's a representation of you and your company, in my opinion. Like, if you have one on.
And I'll go on to say, when it came time for me to sit in a deposition,
yeah.
I'm coming to the table looking more of the professional uniform. So I'd be in a nice dress, cardigan. I go to court all the time in a full-blown suit.
But do you think that's still necessary? Do you think you still need to do that?
For the courthouse?
For a court.
Yeah.
Yes, because I go to small counties, and some of those male judges still believe that a woman needs to be in a skirt suit and
pantyhose.
pantyhose. And so some of it you have to come to the table a certain kind of way because your counterpart, if it's an older man, I've been in court before in Harris County where it was a shareholder on the other side, and he just sidestepped me and started talking to the judge, and they had already got like 5 points on the docket, and I just did this.
Yeah.
And he was super tall, and I raised my hand, and the judge looked up and he says, "Oh, Miss Hutchinson, you have a comment?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor. You've just ruled on 5 topics that I didn't get to say anything on." He was like, "I apologize." He just took over everything. I think he even blocked you. I couldn't even see you until you raised your hand.
Right.
Why? Because I was younger and he thought he could run over me.
Right.
And as a young professional, that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with day in and day out of how you navigate coming into a profession that the person across the table from you, in the surgical room with you, in the classroom with you, has been here for so long. And here you come, young buck. How do you do that?
How do you do that? I mean, they try to punk you, try you, test you, whatever. But how do you get through that? How do you navigate through that?
I think you still have to assert yourself. I mean, you still have to, I'm not above professional shade. I'll say that. Because especially in the legal profession, seasoned attorneys will sometimes, especially if you have on the other side, someone will throw a little dig like, "Oh, did you just pass the bar yesterday?" And I'll be like, "Well, was Jesus? Did you represent Jesus in his crucifixion?"
I told a coworker who's in his 60s today. He teased me. He had on a Wiley College shirt. He always teases me. We're really cool, but he's a senior attorney in his 60s. And I said, "Oh, you graduated from Wiley College in 1912.
See.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is just fun banter. But I think, like, if you are really getting to a place where someone is being unprofessional to you, and I will say that my boss has taught me this, you don't have to entertain everything that is placed at your doorstep. And I think as a younger professional, when I first was like tried, for example, being inundated with emails, because sometimes opposing counsel will send you emails over and over and over again. One, so they can bill for those emails, so they can bill their client for those emails. And then 2, to get like a response or nail you down to something that you don't agree with. But remembering that you control your reaction and you control your pace. And so sometimes I may get an email from an opposing counsel, and if it's not something that warrants a response, like something that is going to affect my client or something that needs to be handled immediately, I don't have to engage with you. Like one client, one opposing counsel, we were emailing about an order, and this particular opposing counsel said, "Well, send me case law that supports your position on why this should happen." And I said, "I have set my motion for this date, and I will be more than glad to provide you that case law at this hearing." And point blank. And they kept emailing, and that was done. You don't have to. I think as a young professional, sometimes we feel like we have to do this back and forth, and you don't have to. You can disengage in some of that stuff.
And I think that's the reason why I fully agree with you. I think mentorship helps with that as well, because sometimes when you are younger, you want to prove that you know as much as the person who's emailing you, or I don't know, you're accounting who's saying your numbers wrong, whatever your supervisor is, you want to one up them. But having a mentor, I've had some mentors even as far back as law school. Dean Ward, she's now Judge Ward. She's amazing. I remember I was in budget and finance and student government, and let me tell you, not letting people have their money, they will try and test you. And so I would be like, "Here's my long 4-page email," and she'd be like, "You know what? Before you send that, send it to me and go to sleep."
Right.
And if you wake up the next morning and I've sent you a response to that, and I've said you can send that, you can send it. Or if I'm not there, you wake up and you're like, "This is still really good. I need to send this off." go ahead and send it.
Yeah.
But don't be so quick to send that said email, especially in our career, in our field, because those emails, they have a way of coming back at a hearing. You'll be sitting back here and like, did I really say that?
Yep.
And so, having somebody in mentor, maybe just a few years older than you, they're at the same firm as you and they're 4 years in versus your first year in, versus having someone that's a partner now. Or maybe I remember talking to someone that said, finding a mentor in a career field that you want to be in. So let's say you're not, I want to do corporate law at some point, or I want to do family law. Let me go find a mentor who does family law, so then he or she can start molding me into how to make that shift.
Yeah.
And
then I also think like setting your own rules for yourself as a young professional early on. Like I remember in college, one of my professors told me this, and I always just keep this in my mind. He said, always have your go to hell money. And we were like, what is go to hell money? He was like, have you enough money saved away where if in your profession someone has ever asked you to do something morally, ethically, or something unprofessional, or that makes you want to say go to hell, you can say go to hell and still have all your bills paid. And so I think that is one thing that really just stuck with me. And then two, I realized early on, this is probably like me practicing after 2 or 3 years, speaking to me is a privilege. And sometimes opposing counsels, some of them, they never met the truth, like honesty. They don't know what honesty is. And so if you have never met honesty or truthfulness, then you probably should not speak with me, because sometimes whatever your truth is, which doesn't match reality, you want to say that in front of a judge or in front of other people, and that's not what happened. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and fix that for you, and we could just communicate via documentation. Don't call me if you are going to tell stories and say things that aren't true, because I'm not going to engage in that.
But I think when it comes to the documentation portion, there is an art to that as well.
Correct.
Right? Because you can tell the truth, but you have to tell it in a way that if someone were to look at that same email, they would understand your truth and understand that you were still professional while you did it.
Yes. And you want to know the most powerful 2 letters you could write in an email? Okay. Because I love when opposing counsel sends me this long email and I say, okay, sent. That's it.
I know you done pissed them off.
Well, because the thing is that sometimes if we're going to have a productive conversation, if we're both advocating zealously for our clients as we have been asked to do, okay, I have no problem with troubleshooting, talking with you about this case. But if you are calling to tell me what a horrible attorney I am and what a horrible client I have, and I didn't give you notice of this, and I'm being unethical and all this, where are we going with this? Like, what do you expect for me to say? What response do you expect for me to have when you are basically mudslinging my way? So I'm not going to entertain that, I mean, it's a privilege to talk to me.
So you brought up one of the tips of professionalism that Forbes had. Number 5 was honesty, I believe it was. So we had a great article on the 16 tips a professional millennial should use, something of that nature. And one of them was honesty. And I fully agree with you that, to me, all you really do have, well, I believe that my character is what I have, right? And so if I say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to try my best to do it. And if I can't do it, then I'll navigate through. But the first one was attitude, making sure that you constantly try to have some type of positive attitude. Now, you can't always have a positive attitude. Sometimes you're just having a bad day, but trying to find the glass is half full, right?
Right.
Knowing what you believe in, Right, and owning it.
Yep, because I got my prayer in my office.
See, because you never know when they're going to try you.
Uh-uh.
Humility and integrity, honesty, passion. I think you got to find whatever area, in our case, the law that you find that you're passionate about so that your clients can believe in you. And I believe if you're passionate about it, you can wear a terry cloth and your client will still be there with you. That's just me. I just...
Terry cloth.
A terry cloth. Timeliness. This is what I struggle with. If you're on time, you're late. I'm normally on time, so I'm normally late. So you should be early.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
you'll be
struggle.
on time.
I struggle with that one a lot. Likability. Not everybody will
struggle-
like you. What? How can that be?
I
Your
struggle
Facebook-
with that. Uh-huh.
People don't like you?
Well,
Or do you care that, or you want people to like you?
I don't know. I never really like thought about like whether someone likes me, you know. But when I thought about likability, it's like me liking other people.
Yeah.
And I think,
I mean, because I say it all the time. I really don't like people.
but I think likability in this case works with professionalism, because even when you have to have those hard conversations,
That's
like
true.
the honesty conversations where, hey, I'm about to beat you. We're about to walk in here. I'm
Right.
about to win this. They still like you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Let's go to cafeteria.
That's because one thing that people have to understand in any profession, you will come across each other again. And that's what I tell my clients. When my clients want me to be all crazy with the opposing counsel, now look, I don't have a problem advocating my case, but y'all two will be divorced and y'all may never have to see each other again. I may have this person on another case.
Right.
And so it's okay that I don't want to slit their throat.
Right.
It's fine that I told them good morning.
Oh, and they get mad with that. Clients get mad. And I tell them, like you say, I have to see this person again.
Yes.
I will have to work with this person again. It might be a case worse than yours
Right.
that I might need them to help me with.
Yeah.
So I will say, good morning. How is your day? You know, whatever. Get over it.
I say more than that. Be like, how your kids doing?
Yeah, if I know that. Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
So how do y'all deal with when you have the clients who, I've had the older clients that are like my grandparents' age,
Oh,
who
how
want to tell
sweet.
you, Brain, are you old enough to be?
I haven't had
here?"
that.
Oh, you haven't? Have you had the clients ask if you're old enough to be doing this?
Yes, I've had clients ask me. I've had opposing counsels ask
How
me.
do you deal with it
Maybe
professionally?
I just look old. Like, maybe I just look old.
I just tell them the truth. I say, you know, yes, I'm old enough. I've been practicing for this long, you know, and I reassure some of them because I understand if I was going back to a doctor's analogy, if I walked into a doctor's office and it was Doogie Howser, you know, I'd be like, now hold on, you know, hold on. when you get your medical license. But I just reassure them that I know what I'm doing, you know, and I let them know I'm very experienced in what it is that I'm doing.
Maybe because it's just the clients I deal with. I think they just happy that somebody's representing them in my
Yeah.
field. Like,
Right.
oh, I got a free
And you
lawyer.
I was gonna say, and it's free.
Yeah, so I don't think they not worried about. They just like, oh, I'm glad you took my case.
So do you ever get it from the sexism side where, are you the paralegal?
Ooh,
Oh,
I
yes,
had that
but
happen.
I've gotten that from not even. I've never gotten it from opposing counsel or like just when I go to court and observe. I get it from the bailiff, and I will go to court. I will have on a suit even when I'm watching and observing court, especially in Fort Bend County. I went and tried to introduce myself to a judge. And because everybody was like, no, when you go to her, you know, make sure you do. Well, as a lawyer, you know, you can walk across the bar. He stopped me. Where do you think you going? Who do you think you are? I said, oh, I apologize. You know, is the and I was actually just going to the counselor's table. I wasn't even going straight to the judge. And I said, well, I'm an attorney. And I just wanted to, you know, introduce myself to the judge. I said, because nobody was in court. Like, it was an empty court.
Yeah.
She had just, you know, finished or whatever. And he just immediately profusely apologizing. And I was like, okay, calm down. It's okay. I mean, but you need to stop judging. Same, I had something in JP court. I came in, I even had my property code. Bailiff said the same thing. You need to get off your phone. And it said like attorneys can be on your phone, but like the I guess clients could not be. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And right before court got started, I sat behind, at the counselor's table, and he came back again. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know you were a lawyer."
But you know what? I like that you followed those rules.
I mean, because I'm not.
Yeah.
First of all, you got a gun, so I don't need you to kill me.
Right.
That's true.
So
That's true.
whatever. But at the same time, I'm just like, I get prejudged by like court staff. Like I always get prejudged, and I have on this suit and like 3-piece suit, whatever, heels or flats or whatever. I don't look like everybody else. I try, or whatever, but I always get prejudged just by the court staff.
But you know what? That brought up a good point too. Is that part of being a professional is also being professional to those who aren't in your profession.
Correct.
Because I cannot stand when I see another attorney that is rude to court staff or to clients that are like, other people, like they see them at the courthouse and these people don't know where they're going. Now it's different if you in a rush, but it's like, it's like you ain't that in a rush
Right.
if to tell them, no, I don't know what court that is or, or what floor that's on or something. But I cannot stand that when, we're in a very dated profession, and sometimes people get too high on their horse and they feel like if you ain't the judge, you could just talk to them any kind of way. And it's like one thing about me is that I will be courteous to the custodian all the way up to the president. So
I don't know about that.
but I will be courteous.
I'll be cordial.
Seriously, I treat everyone the same because everybody deserves respect, and I cannot stand when people in the profession act like they're better than those who are the support staff at the courthouse or or a paralegal, like people who are rude to the paralegal.
So I used to be a paralegal. So I was told, like, before I went to law school, that the paralegals, they used to remind me, remember where you came from. Like, don't go in there acting like you high on the hall just because you going to law school and about to be a lawyer. So that's why, unless you try me, but I try to respect the staff or whatever. And then, too, paralegals, court staff, whatever, they going to save you. So even though, like, those bailiffs, they was going off, because I, like, with the second bailiff that was going off me being on my cell phone, and he realized I was an attorney, I had to go back to that court again, like, the following week. Then it was pleasant, whatever I needed. He was like, oh, you good? You straight? Because I didn't go off. And I'm like, for what? So I try to maintain that.
Well, I would say even, I remember applying for a job with, I want to say it was Bank of America or Chase or something. And the day of the interview, it's a major building. You had to check in with security.
Yeah.
So said who I was, and he said, sit, have a seat. So I sat down, and I sat next to this young lady, and she leaned over and she said, oh, what are you here for? And I said, an interview. And so she was like, which job? And I told her, and she's like, oh, well, you can go ahead and go home. I'm on my second interview. I'm about to get the job. So I was like, okay. Well, I'm going to stay. They asked me to come. I'm going to go ahead and stay. And so she's like, I'm just saying, like, they call me back. This is my position. So I said, well, very well. Good luck. And so she went on back, and then I sat there, and the security guard walks over to me, and he was like, you handle that so well. They really don't like her. And so I was like, really? So then I went to my little interview, and I came out. They walked me all the way through, and then they went on about their business. And he leans over and he says, you know you're going to get the job, right?
Right.
And I said, how do you know? And he goes, that people don't realize that even as security, I hear them talking when y'all leave.
Yeah.
And we ask those questions, right? So you don't know in any profession
Right.
who you're dealing with,
Right.
from the receptionist to, we had another incident in my old firm where the girl came in for the interview. She was going to be a legal assistant, and she had an attitude with the receptionist. And the receptionist called HR to come get her, and they're like, how was she doing? And they're like, she has a bad attitude. well, you can tell her to go ahead and go home. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of times professionalism goes even out of even getting into your career is what are you doing? Who
That's
are you
true.
interacting with? You don't ever know where your job or your clients might come from. So maybe you do need to help the person that's lost to get to the courthouse. Because if you're in a criminal courthouse and you're looking for clients and that client's lost and you help them, hey,
Right.
Ray
I have
Ray
a
needs-
DUI.
right.
Can you? I don't have an attorney. Are you willing
Can
to?
you stand up with
Exactly.
me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, do y'all ever get those issues where, okay, when you're on the phone with opposing counsel, and we are all women of color, we are Black women, that you have to change your voice for those conversations?
This is my real voice, so no.
Like,
Okay.
hi, my name is Brandy.
So here's the deal, right? So as a young professional, you think you have to, right? But then one time, I was on the phone with a potential client, and we were talking, and it was a referral from one of my colleagues, and I was talking to him on the phone, and he said, "Oh, you Black," and I was using my best voice. And ever since then, I was just like, it don't matter.
And
It
dealing with my
doesn't matter.
clients, because of the type of clients I deal with, I talk regular because I be like, girl, now you shouldn't have hit him upside the head with this bottle and you trying to get a protective order. But they really they feel comfortable and relate.
So I guess
like
I'm
that.
confused as what y'all talking about this
with
extra
opposing
voice.
counsel, do you change your voice?
You try to not sound
Black.
black.
So yeah, do you try not?
Can we look at the video?
Okay, so
Okay. 'Cause-
there's this movie called Sorry to Bother You on Netflix, and here's the example.
Mr. Davison, cash your screen here. Sorry to bother.
Let me give you a tip. You want to make some money here? Use your white voice.
My white voice.
I'm not talking about Will Smith's wife, like this young blood.
Hey, Mr. Kramer, this is Langston from Regal View.
As always, we'll be getting that out to you right away.
You're doing so good with the voice thing.
Holla, 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 holla.
So basically, in order for him to rise up in the ranks, Danny Glover told this young man in the movie, you got to use your white voice. So, do you tend to feel like in professionalism, in our professional world, you have to use your white voice in order to get what you want? Or for them to take you seriously?
No. This is still my real voice. I do have friends that I have a friend. She's in the banking and finance industry, and I called her one day, and she got on the phone, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have been misdirected. I'm looking for." She goes, "Oh, hey, girl." Girl, what are you doing? So she's like, "That's my voice." So, no, it's 21st century. Can we just embrace who we are?
I don't think necessarily you change your voice. Like, I don't change my voice, but I think I will change how I talk
Versus the voice.
versus my voice. But it's not, I don't think it's a white or black or a race thing. I just think it's, if I'm talking to one of my friends, I may use slang, or I may, say, "Girl, now what's going on?" Versus if I'm talking to opposing counsel, I may say, "Okay, can you explain your issue, please?" I'm not following you. It's like, I think it's just a matter of changing how you say things. You're not going to use as many colloquialisms or slang or things like that.
So you shouldn't have to change your voice to get your point across.
I don't think you really can change your voice. I think I do have some people who can actually trick me, but I don't, very few people. And what does that mean? Because
What
even,
does it
even
mean?
if you change your voice, when the person comes into your office,
And can you keep it going the whole time?
how do you keep the charade up?
Right.
But
Like,
what
it
does it
shouldn't
mean?
matter.
Because just like in that movie, he, of course, like for acting, but he changed his voice. So what does it mean? Why, as like Black people, we have always been taught or whatever, oh, you need to talk white to be taken serious, or you need to talk like white people, or whatever. Just, for that, for that reason. He talked in his normal voice. He just said, hey, hello, sorry to bother you. This is my name. They hung up in his face. But then he switched it and was like, hi, my name is, in his white voice. And he's getting clients.
I don't know. I have issues with why is that even considered like a white voice, a black voice?
But
well,
that's
and then
what it's been.
I have
for
issues with that as
years.
well. When you think about like going to AT&T, I hate calling AT&T, right? But when you have an issue and they send the phone call over to India, and you know that guy's name is not Mike, but that's the name that he chose.
And I can't understand Mike.
I'm like, what's your real name? Mike? No, it's not. Be your true, authentic self.
The only issue that I have with that is that they do not train those people to really fix your issue.
Correct.
And so that's the only issue that I have is that one, we aren't communicating effectively, right? Because I don't really understand everything you're saying most of the time. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Then when I ask to speak to your supervisor, you are lost as to that. And so that's the issue that I have is the training. I don't care whether you transfer my call to anywhere but hell. You can transfer my call. And as long as you can fix my issue, I don't care what ethnicity you are.
But I guess for me, when it comes to changing who you are, we spend, unfortunately, a lot of our time in the workplace, right? 8, 10, 12 hours, sometimes 20 hours, depending if you, in our profession, getting ready for trial or something. And so to say that for 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, so 60 hours out of those 7 days, I'm going to change who I am.
But people do it.
But I do. I'm not. When I'm in the office, I'm myself, but I'm not all of myself. There are certain parts that you shield, just because I realized because I didn't work in the office till like later in life, like a actual like office. So I realized that, there are certain things that you probably shouldn't share or let your hair down in the workplace. You should probably, keep a few things tucked under your wig.
And with that, I just be like, you don't deserve all of me anyway in the workplace. So I'm just going to,
Well, and is it professional, right?
Right.
Is every topic that you would have going to
Right.
be professional?
Right.
That's what I had to learn. It's like, even if we at lunch,
You don't
there's
need to
certain
say
things that we don't need to talk about.
Right.
Every concert I go to, you don't need to know.
Right.
I went to a 90s concert. I'll tell you about those.
Right.
But if I'm going to
Rick Ross, maybe.
Yeah, or the twerking classes or whatever, I don't go to those. But if I were to go to one of those,
Right.
I don't think that is appropriate for the workplace, because depending on who's around you, they might be like, oh, can you teach me how to twerk? And now y'all are all off.
Right.
See, and it's like I have a coworker now. She's trying her best to be my friend, and she want to be like, so when we going to happy hour together? I don't do that with you. I don't know you like that. Or if I mention, you're having a collective conversation, and she was like, oh, well, what are you doing after work? Meeting some friends for dinner. But you can't go to happy hour with me. We're not friends.
We are co-workers.
It's professional here.
You can go to happy hour with your coworkers. That does not mean that y'all are friends. Y'all
No.
know that, right?
But see, the
but
difference. The
some
difference
people
is
don't understand
no. Because then here's the problem that I have. Like, yes, you can go with your coworkers. Like, if it's a group effort. But the problem is that didn't we just talk about you can't share everything who you are
Yes.
at work. So when I go to happy hour with my friends, that's like me taking my bra off.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I get to talk about all the stuff that got on my nerves at work. I get to
Including
talk
the
about all the
person.
topics that I don't get to. I get to talk about the twerking class that I took this weekend. I can talk about all the stuff that I want to talk about. But see, now we have transitioned work, Samantha, into happy hour, Samantha. Now she the same person. Now she's still buttoned up.
No, she's not.
She
See,
is.
okay, here's the thing.
She's still buttoned up.
Let me go ahead and school you, your young
Free me.
bucks, okay?
Free me.
There are going to be times in your said careers, okay, that you're going to have to go to happy hours with judges. When I was in Austin,
That's different.
I was in there. No, it's not. It's the same thing.
Because I will even go to coffee with judges. They have it every Friday here. That's different. So I guess because my coworker is a busybody. She is a nosy, old, busybody
I hope
who
she
is
don't listen
dying.
to
I hope she
want her to
doesn't
listen
either.
to it. I want her
Because she'll
to.
probably be like, who do you think she's talking about?
Because-
Who you talking about? Let's go to happy hour.
Tell me who the
Anybody.
busybody is.
So with that, and when I say with that, because I agree with you, because like, you know, we're having a big firm happy hour. I will go to that when it's other people. But you're trying to be me and you, hang out, homegirl, whatever. You are an older 50-year-old woman who have grandkids and stuff like that, who is a busybody. I don't associate that with you. Like, we maybe can go to lunch during work time. Cool. But after work, after hours, I'm like, Samantha, I need to be able to take my bra off. Let's kick it.
I think that there's a difference between, because yes, you do need to network, and there will be times that you do go to dinner with judges, that you do go to dinner with other colleagues and things like that, and you are still buttoned up, and that's fine.
And I'll be there for an hour.
And I'll stay and I'll have a good time. And you, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna have a good time, but I'm saying that I don't like to spend what I consider my free time is being on. Meaning,
Right.
if I'm on, then I know that I'm on. Fine, okay. You know, we're not going to talk about politics at this dinner. We're not going to talk about, you know, certain things that I like to do in my extracurricular. That, you know, maybe I went to a bachelorette, went to a stripper pole class. We ain't going to talk about that stuff, right? So we have limited topics, but I don't want to just hang out with you and always talk about limited topic stuff. I want to talk about, sometimes I want to let my hair down, and I want to talk about the off limit stuff. Okay, and I can't talk about it with Susan, who is 50 with her grandkids.
And Susan always want to try to hook everybody up with random.
All right, y'all gonna miss out. Well, Sam doesn't need. She needs to miss out, but you're gonna miss out.
I want to miss out. I'm missing out on that.
Yeah.
So what we laying to rest today?
Okay, so Taria, what we laying to rest?
Oh, what are we laying to rest? Okay. The judgment that is shown to the younger professionals. Just because.
With that one finger.
Just because.
Just
That
because.
sermon
Cue
just.
the music, okay? Just because
Well,
I am younger in age.
Say that.
I have good genes,
Well.
no wrinkles.
come on.
No gray hair.
Preacher.
Does not mean
Take your time.
I am less qualified or less intellectual because the good Lord done put me in this
Speak on it.
place.
Speak
Man,
on it.
Won't he do
He
it?
didn't place you, guys.
And I was
Will is
supposed to be here, and until he says I'm
He
leaving,
said.
I'ma stand here, and thou shalt not be moved.
That was, I felt that.
That's a word.
That's a word.
That's a
on the
word.
day.
Go ahead and pass my offering in the middle of this.
We're taking up collection.
Hallelujah.
Anybody want to get some sponsors to pay for these?
There you go.
We looking
Brandy.
for sponsors.
What you laying to rest?
I would like to lay to rest, and I have an issue within our profession. It's just judgment in general. Stop judging. Stop judging.
What
Stop
that mean?
judging.
Give me an example.
Judge everything. If somebody messed up in court, don't judge younger lawyers or somebody else. Don't judge that person and tell everybody, their mama, daddy, sister, brother, oh girl, he done went, the judge done went off on him, instead of helping that person.
Matter of fact, yeah, like you said,
If
pull them aside.
If a younger lawyer goes into court not dressed right, don't put it on social media talking about why
Right.
such and such didn't have a jacket on and the judge went off. No, tap them on their shoulder and say, this particular judge likes for you to have your jacket on. Don't tell everybody in the world, and don't do
Right,
that.
right.
So let's stop judging.
Because
Let's help each other.
Some of y'all seasoned attorneys.
Looking like you need to take a bath.
I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that. But I'm just saying, some seasoned attorneys, you know, comment on wardrobes, and
I'm just saying.
yours could use
That's
an
my
update.
thing. Let's stop judging in 2019. We laying at the rest.
Okay, and I want to lay to rest. Considering, I want us to lay to rest office hours, vacation time, and all of that was part of the old school. We don't need scheduled office hours, okay? We can work from anywhere. Millennials, we can work from home. We can work from Thailand. We can work from all over the world. And so I think that, having these, well, you only get a week off for vacation or 2 weeks off for vacation, or you have to come in at this time and you have to leave at that time. I really think that if you were to do the time that we actually work longer, because I know we answer more emails and look at orders and look at things when we're at home, and we can work from anywhere. So I look at stuff on my phone. I'm constantly working. So I think we should lay to rest vacation time. I think we should lay to rest standard office hours, and I think we should focus on if you billing and if you are getting the work done. I think that that's more important, is that are you completing the work in a timely fashion?
But I'm not going to Thailand taking my stuff with me when I go to Thailand.
Well, then don't. I mean, that's your choice, but I'm just saying, coming into work and being told, like, you have to be here at this time, you got to leave at this time, and it's like, well, we work from anywhere. Like, you could wake up at 8 and you may not get to your office until maybe 10, but you've probably answered emails or sent stuff or reviewed some things while you were at home, So I just think that square box, we can expand it a little bit.
No, I agree.
And I think that that's more of the older generation's thought process, right? Just work, so that we can accumulate everything. I think we were looking at it earlier, the what did you call it? With the generational boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And how
We can pull that up.
Yeah.
So with the baby boomers, they were just trying to get a nest egg going, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's where some of the issues we have now is that you still have the baby boomers who are still working.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in our profession, some of the older attorneys are in their 70s or 80s and they're
super
still
seniors.
practicing. So their mindset is different. It's build, and save, and work so that, you don't get back and you're not broke.
So what I learned, and I have a phenomenal boss now, like phenomenal. She's like a mentor to me. And one thing that she has taught me as I worked with her is one day I was trying to come in on a weekend, and that's 288 shutdowns over the weekend. So 288 was shut down, and I was like, well, I'm just not gonna make it into work. So on Monday she asked me, did you come in over the weekend to work? And I told her no. She said good, because this work gonna always be here.
Yeah.
She was like, take your time, take off. My boss every single month is out of the country.
Wow.
She is on a plane every single month.
Yeah.
And I look at her because she's been with our firm for 28, 29 years. She's in her early 60s. Kids are grown, but she is gone. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be like you. Because she literally was like, the work going to be here.
Yeah.
Like, and she doesn't take her laptop with her. She might, like, get on WhatsApp and, like, text me and just like, hey, just want to check in real quick. That's it,
Right.
or whatever. But other than that, she was like, you have the time, take it. Don't stress yourself out. You have to have a work-life balance. Because she was like, you cannot consume yourself with working all the time.
Yeah.
So she was like, take it. And so I take a page from her book, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel, bad, like, taking my breaks or whatever. And that's why I said, if I'm going to Thailand, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to check it. No, like, that's my time.
Well, I say that, but I actually, I hate, not working.
You.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind working from other spaces, and I try to discipline myself to where I get most of my work done in the office. But I really feel guilty, taking off from work. And so I have to really remind myself that you need the recharge. You need the vacation. You need the break, So, and it's not
no problem.
And it's no pressure for me at work. Our boss and everyone in the office, take off, enjoy time. It's the clients. I feel like I let down my clients, because they're constantly wanting, emailing or asking you this, and you know, in dealing with family matters, you want to make sure they're taken care of. So I had to remind myself that, look, their issue is not necessarily your issue.
Right.
You know, you gave them the order. They have it. You've explained it to them. So if you are off that weekend on vacation and you told them when their visitation is, if they can't reach you, they can't reach you.
Well, and I think with the whole vacation spiel of it is that you're not doing your client a good service by not taking the vacation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you think, okay, well, I'm at their ever waking need.
Yeah.
And then you get burnt out. And your body's going to shut down at some point.
Yeah.
Regardless if you think you're still going, you're taking your coffee, your body's going to shut down via sickness or just being tired, or your work product is not where it used to be. And so I like the idea of being able to work from other places.
Yeah.
The firm I'm at right now, I do not have that ability to do,
Yeah.
but I hope one day I do get that ability, because if I was sitting in Hawaii, I swear those emails are better sit on the beach. They really are.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
would give them an hour. I would be like, okay, wherever. Like,
but
I would
think
give you
about
an
it.
hour. And no, and I mean, it feels better, but I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm going to open up this laptop. I'm going to do this for an hour, because I did that when I went to Dallas for my CLEs, and, you know, I stayed for after the 4th. I gave them like an hour, maybe 2. And then for like the first week and then the second week was my vacation. And I'm like, and I'm done. And it was good, I guess. You know, it wasn't as stressful because it was on my own time, or I'm laying in the bed and I'm typing it up. But other than that, I'll give you an hour.
Because it also drives me crazy. I hate taking vacation too, because I hate feeling like I'm falling behind when I come back.
Yeah.
I don't want to come back to 1,000 emails and 50 things that I have to do.
Right, because then I'm always worried about, do I start at the most recent email or do I go backwards, right? And I normally try to start at the oldest ones.
Yeah.
And so I'm shooting off emails, do this, do that. I'm like, did you go
Yeah.
look 4 days up?
So I don't have that problem, because my boss is like, if I know you're going to be gone, she's like, I'm not going to give you anything. Like, everything stops. And I mean, and then I always put my outer office email. Now, phone call, now I might come back to a lot of voicemails or something, but like emails, you know, they get it real, you know, reply back, I'm out of the office this time and this time. But that's one thing I like with my firm is my boss is like, if you're out, you're not getting anything new. And if there's anything that need to be addressed quickly, you know, like she'll handle it, or like the other attorney will handle it. But I don't have those type of issues. I used to though, but now it's just.
But I will say that working at the firm that I work at now, they're really good about, look, it's gonna be there when you get back. Like it is a revolving door.
It's
you
family
know?
law.
And you want to make sure you take care of your clients right before you leave. But you can't kill yourself trying to answer every call, do every single thing, meet with every client. Some of that stuff, it'll be there when you get back. And as you build your clientele, your clients will wait.
And they will be all right.
Yeah.
So, we got any more questions, comments, concerns, love and affection, appreciation? I just want to say that. That sounded good.
That's weird. No, be professional. And it's not as hard as you think it is to be professional. I think it's just stopping. And I don't know if it made the list on the Forbes list, but respect, right?
Yeah.
And I think respect.
RESPCT.
She said it right. You know, Auntie
Find out
Aretha
what
said
it
it right.
means to me.
If
Make
you
sure it's
respect your counterparts, so whatever career choices that you're in, I think professionalism automatically comes with it. You know, just by
Yeah.
being
That's true.
respectful.
I don't know why they make the list though. That
Did it
should've
not
been
make
number
the list?
one. No.
Right. Put some
Unless it's
respect
on top
on
of
my
8 or 9.
name.
Yeah, it might
Put
not
some
have made it.
respect
That's sad.
on my name.
Well, thank y'all for joining us again on No Further Questions. Catch us every single week. You can follow us on all the social media channels at on Instagram and No Further Questions. Well, No Further Q, my bad. You can follow us on Twitter at NFQ Pod and on Facebook at No Further Questions. And again, this is your girl Brandy. You can follow me at Brand_Janae on Instagram.
Taria, Simply Being T, Instagram.
And we following you today, Sam.
You can follow me at Back to you, Jim.
Thank y'all again and tune in next week because we ain't no telling what we gonna be talking about again.